So I know what you're probably thinking. Looking at the title of the video, you're probably saying, Shaima, why did you put the word travel and work in the same sentence? But guys, let me tell you, travel has really changed the way I see work. I used to think that my job was a big part of my identity, a big part of who I am. And I think it's normal because of the society that we live in. We're built to think that, we need to follow the same path. So go to university, have internships, start a new job, climb the ladder, and so on. And now I see it differently. Hi, my name is Shaima. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I want to talk about how traveling changed my perspective around work, and how I started to see it more as a tool rather than something that defines me. For context, I work in corporate, so as a business analyst. I won't go into much details in this video, but if you're interested to know what I do, I can definitely make another video on this topic. So let's get started. Traveling showed me that there isn't one way to live. Obviously, when you travel and you meet people, you hear different stories, different backgrounds, different perspectives, and being around that really pushes you to think that, okay, there isn't only one way to do your career. There isn't only one path. Life is not linear. There's ups and downs, there's pivots, there's so many things that can come up. And so obviously when you travel and you hear about people's stories, it makes you reflect on what is it that you actually want, but also it makes you reflect on the different possibilities that you have in front of you. So obviously now with social media, it's very easy to see what people are up to, right? You don't have to travel to meet people to tell you that they are doing things differently. It's available online. But hearing their stories or really understanding the reality behind whatever we see online is something that I find is key to Alright guys, sorry for the change in scenery, but I just realized something. I think it would be good to also add in some facts around the topic. So, does really travel makes you see work differently? There isn't much research done on the subject, however, was able to find a few facts that I'll be sharing with you now. Alright, so there's actually a study from the Institute of International Education that says that traveling or studying abroad gives people a broader understanding of career possibilities, and it increases their confidence to pursue different paths. So I'm telling you guys, it is true. It is a fact. It is stated. It has been researched, okay? All right, another fact that I have here is from the European Commission Impact Study, and it says that 64% of people change life priorities after international experience. I think what they're referring here is people who actually lived abroad for some time. Not sure if traveling for 3 weeks counts as a living abroad experience. Please let me in my delusion. I do believe it is, but maybe it's not the case. Actually, let me know. Let me know if you think that traveling for like 2-3 weeks is a living abroad experience. Tell me yes, please. I want to believe that I lived in Brazil. But yeah, so I think it's an interesting percentage. 64% is quite huge, and I do understand it. Like when you travel and you experience different things, well, you definitely come back after hopefully you have reflected and you shift your priorities. So that's a fact. So a study shows that being exposed to different cultures actually changes how people define success. I think that's an amazing fact because I believe that we were taught in a way to believe that success means you've reached a certain level, you've reached a certain salary, you have done this and done that. And I love the fact that traveling makes you reflect on what is really your own definition of success. My definition of success can be different from someone else. And so asking yourself those questions is very important, because if for you success is having a nice job, well, what happens if you lose it? You know what I mean? Are you not successful anymore? Are you a failure? I don't think that. So it is important to understand what success is for you and then work towards that. All right, so those were my facts. Now, let's go back to the video. I think one of the biggest shifts for me was realizing that my job shouldn't be my identity. And the more I traveled again and I was in countries where work culture wasn't as much dominant, where people were enjoying other parts of their lives, their family, their health, really working out, it made me realize that this is how it's supposed to be. You're not supposed to be so attached to your job in the sense where this is only who you are. And I think when you live, obviously I live in Canada, so when you live in countries where you have that hustle mindset, it's very easy to get caught up and dedicate all your time and energy around your job, your title, your position, that you forget a bit that that's not only who you are. Just take, for example, what happened recently, what happened with Oracle. They laid off 30,000 people, 30,000 employees that were dedicating their lives to that job. Some people, I've seen some testimonies of people that have been working there for 30 years, 25 years, and they just came in one day and they saw that they were laid off. I feel like I'm going a bit over topic here, but all this to say is that traveling has made me realize that some people don't really tie their job to their identity. And it's a good thing, because the moment you lose it, you won't feel crushed. It won't ruin or make you question your worth. Something that I also noticed is that traveling has removed the fear that I have around work. And what I mean by that is that being able to see how people live their lives in different ways has made me realize that there are so many options out there, and that my life is not limited to one job. And if anything happens, there's always another option if I have the right mindset and if I take the right actions. And so then it becomes easier for you to accept wherever it comes, and it becomes easier for you to see your job as a leverage. Another thing that travel has taught me is how to deal with uncertainty. Obviously, when you travel, you're around new people who have different personalities, you're in new environments, you have to solve problems, you need to be okay with change, and that really builds you and shapes you into becoming more adaptable. And that skill, you can bring it in your job. And so whenever you deal, or I dealt with uncertainty, I've always learned how to adapt to it. Especially now, I feel like everyone is questioning whether they will lose their job because of AI. This is again an example of being in uncertainty, but realizing that it's only a question of being adaptable and taking action towards that. So, does it mean that I will quit my job? The answer is no, I won't. And the reason why is because, first of all, I do enjoy it, but I also think that, especially in early career, it's important to learn skills that I maybe wouldn't have a chance to learn, whether they are technical, whether they are interpersonal. Obviously, you can say that there are other ways to learn them other than a 9 to 5. But to me personally, for now, it's working because I have a goal as towards why I'm doing what I'm doing. So I think when you have that mindset of understanding that your job currently is supporting your goal, but it doesn't define your life, it doesn't define your final destination, it becomes easier to enjoy and be motivated towards what you're looking for. Obviously, there are people who are in positions where they are not in a good environment, they don't enjoy what they do, maybe they're not learning whatever they want to learn. And I think in that case, I'll highly suggest you look elsewhere and you try to find a different job that will maybe suit what you're looking for. Anyway, I'm not HR, so I can't really tell you, but that's just my personal take on it. But yeah, if I were to summarize the video in one sentence, I will say that traveling doesn't make you less ambitious, it makes you more aware of what is possible. Mic drop. So that was it. If you made it until the end, thank you so much. If you enjoyed the video and enjoyed the topic, please feel free to leave your comments, like, and subscribe. It will mean a lot. And as usual, I'll see you on the next one. Bye.